I think everybody to this. I think we're live. Let me check. We're live. I think we're live. Let me check. We're live. Yeah, we're live. So welcome everybody to this first episode of the NFL podcast. What we're going to do is once a week we're going to have an NFL podcast so we can dive more into the NFL scores, reviewing scores, looking ahead new scores, and giving my thoughts on the season. That's what is going to be talked about here on this NFL podcast. Every week it'll start today on Monday, but we're going to move it to a new date in the week, and that'll be a Tuesday. Oops. Did not mean to do that. I do apologize for that. Let's get into reviewing and looking back on the NFL scores from Sunday. Today you have Monday Night Football between, I want to say, Jets and Giants. Yeah, not Jets and Giants. Jets and Patriots are tonight. Let's go over and review the scores from yesterday. We have a final score from Thursday's game between the Packers and the 49ers. 34-7 Packers winning at that one. Then the Broncos and the Falcons, 34-27 final score there. Falcons winning at that one. Bills beating the Seahawks 44-34. And then the Titans beating the Bears 24-17. And then the Ravens beating the Colts 24-10. The final score there. Chiefs barely beating the Panthers 33-31. Vikings beating the Lions 34-20. Giants beating the Washington football team 23-0. Texans beating the Jaguars 27-25. Raiders beating the Chargers 31-26. Steelers beating the Cowboys 24-19. Dolphins winning 34-31 over the Cardinals, and the Saints beating the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football 38-3. The final score there. Bengals, Browns, Rams, and Eagles all of those teams had byes this week. So a lot of good games. I thought it was a good week of football. My takeaways from the game on Sunday, we got a game tonight between there's a game tonight between the Patriots and the Jets. Yeah, I thought it was a good week of football. Really, had a lot of good games, a lot of close games. Really, that were decided by 10 or so points, and so Um, so, you know, I think the biggest win I think I saw yesterday from any teams. I mean, there were a lot of close games. Biggest win I think was, you know, of the week was last night with the Saints and the Buccaneers with a 38-3 win. You know, that's the biggest I think. You know, you had 34-31 and 24-19 and 31-26 and 27-25 and 23-20 and 34-20 and 31-33 and 24-10 and on. Even a 10-point game between the Bills and the Seahawks, 44-34. So I think the biggest points margin of the week was Sunday night between the Bucs and the Saints. We'll see how this game tonight goes between the Patriots and the Jets, but you know, so we'll see how it goes. I think we got a good another week coming up, and we'll look at the upcoming week on the show today as well. But and then next week we'll review the Monday night game and this past Monday night game, the Monday November 9th, today's game, plus all in next week's episode, next week's podcast. Plus, you know, we'll review the other stuff next. Review all the other stuff from week 10 and look ahead to week 11. So today we're reviewing week 9 and looking ahead to, well, we're reviewing almost all of week 9 and looking ahead to week 10, and then we'll review one week 9 game next week, and that's the Monday night game that's today. But we'll start in the 10th. We'll have the NFL podcast on Tuesday. So this will be a separate video, separate show from the Rush Hour Renegade. We will still have the Rush Hour Renegade, and it'll be a separate video, and it'll still be Monday through Friday. It just won't have the NFL talk in it. That'll be saved for this podcast. You know, it's gonna be a warm game there in the Meadowlands. In East Rutherford, New Jersey, 73 degrees around kickoff time, according to AccuWeather on here. So, should be a good game. I think these teams have had their share of struggles with 2-5, 0-3 on the road record for the Patriots, 0-8, 0-4 at home for the Jets. So, Jets really looking to get a win here and have their first win of the season. Patriots, however, are favored in the game by 9.5 points. Cam Newton leads the team in rushing. Frank Gore is the leading rusher for the Jets, and Jamison Crowder, the leading receiver for the Jets as well. So, yeah, let's get into some stats here for some of the games. We're not going to go into a lot of stats because there's a lot to go over. Like I said, the Bengals, Browns, Rams, and Eagles all have bye weeks, so they'll be playing next week. Cowboys will be off next week. Let's look at the teams that have bye next week. We'll look at that later. Let's go over some more stuff for week 9. For the let's look at this team stats for the Packers 49ers game, and we'll start there, and we'll move our way throughout the thing. So you had 21 first downs for the Packers, 17 for the 49ers, and passing first downs 13 for Packers, 8 for the Niners, and then you had rushing yards. Rushing first down 6 apiece for both teams. First downs from penalties 2 for Packers, 3 for 49ers, and then the first down from penalties. Third down conversions 6 for 12 and 3 for 10. 6 for 12 for the Packers and 3 for 10 for the 49ers. Fourth down conversions 1 for 1 and 0 for 1 for the 49ers and 1 for 1 for the Packers. 63 plays to 53 63 plays for the Packers and 53 for the 49ers. They have 405 total yards for the Packers, and then the 49ers, they have had 337 total yards. Total drives 11 and for the Packers and 10 for the 49ers. Yards per play 6.4 for both teams, passing 294 yards for the Packers and 282 for the 49ers. Completion attempts 25 for 31 for the Packers and 22 and 35 for the 49ers. Yards per pass 9.2 for the Packers and 7.8 for the 49ers. Interceptions, no interceptions for the Packers, 1 for the 49ers. They had 1 sack for the Packers. Packers had 1 sack for 11 yards. 49ers had 1 sack for 9 yards. 111 rushing yards for the Packers and 55 for the Niners. Rushing attempts 31 for the Packers, 17 for the 49ers. Rushing yards per rush 3.6 and 3.2. And let's see here. Yards per rush 3.6 and 3.2. Like I said, for 3.6 was the Packers and 3.2 was the 49ers. Red zone, the Packers found themselves in the red zone twice. 3 times, and 2 were made successful. 1 for 3 in the red zone for the 49ers. 5 penalties for 45 yards for the Packers, 4 penalties for 33 yards for the 49ers. No fumble losses for the Packers, and 1 fumble loss for the 49ers. That made no turnovers for the Packers in the end, and 2 for the 49ers. And there was 1 interception thrown. No special team touchdowns for either team. 23 minutes and 30 seconds time possession for the 49ers, and 36 minutes and 30 seconds for the Packers. With that win, the Packers improved to 6-2 at home, 4-1 on the road. 6-2 overall, 4-1 on the road. 49ers fall to 4-5 overall and 1-4 at home. So there you have it. The best art. Let me go back here. So I'm not going to go into all the statistics for all the games. I'm just going over the scores. I thought a lot of good close games, a lot of good games in the NFL this week, and we'll have another one today at 7:15 Central Time on ESPN. Check out local listings for the time and channel in your area for Monday Night Football. Next week is week 10. And you have Thursday Night Football between the Colts and Titans. Then it's the Texans and the Browns, Washington Football Team and the Lions, Jaguars and Packers, Giants and Eagles, Bucks and Panthers, Broncos and Raiders, Chargers and Dolphins, Bills and Cardinals, and Seahawks and Rams, 49ers and Saints, Bengals and Steelers, Ravens and Patriots, and Vikings and Bears, Falcons, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Jets, all both having off next week. So there you have it. That's coming up in week 10. Next week on the podcast we will break down week 10 scores and look ahead to week 11. That's coming up next week on the NFL on my NFL podcast. And that'll be on Tuesday, November 10th. Or should we not? Tuesday, November 10th. Tuesday, November 17th. Excuse me. Tuesday, November 17th. Excuse me. I had to correct that. So we will have a double. We'll have a doubleheader Rush Hour Renegade tomorrow, Tuesday, November 10th, and have that going on. So that's what's coming up on my channel tomorrow. We have a new gameplay content series that we got coming up on my channel next week. Starting next week on the 16th through the 20th. It'll be a new game that we have not shown before on my channel, and that is Monopoly. So that is coming up on my channel. And so I think that about do it for this first NFL podcast. Let me edit the title here because I need to type "the" in front of it for the title. The NFL podcast with the YouTuber is the official title. Oops. If I can spell it right. Okay. So that'll do it for me until this will do it for this week's episode of the NFL podcast. Join me next week for another episode of the NFL podcast, and also tomorrow we'll have doubleheader of the Rush Hour Renegade and more Rush Hour Renegade coming the rest of the week. So until next time, this has been the YouTuber sign off. Until next time, keep on YouTube, everybody, and we'll see y'all in the next video.